You're watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. From Toronto, Ontario, I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Ramadan Mubarak. I hope your Ramadan is going well to those who are fasting. Today, a conversation about the Edmonton Film Festival called the MOSQUERS, showcasing Muslim filmmakers from across the world with NARMEEN SAIYED. But first, today's headlines. Canadian Muslims celebrate Ramadan in community for the first time in 2 years. Halifax Mosque launches first Atlantic Muslim radio station. Archive Initiative documents Canadian Muslims' history. 13 Palestinians detained and 20 injured after clash with Israeli forces at Damascus gate. And now, the details. For the first time in 2 years, Muslims are celebrating Ramadan without most COVID-related restrictions. During this month, Muslims fast from sunup to sundown and break this fast with family and friends over a shared meal called iftar. This became difficult during the pandemic, where restrictions limited indoor gatherings. Syed Mansour Prezada, the president of the Muslim Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, says that while some COVID restrictions are still in place, like wearing a mask or physically distancing, returning to the mosque gives Ramadan a sense of normalcy and allows people a chance to reconnect with one another, report local media sources. Atlantic Canada's first Muslim radio station has gone live just as Ramadan begins. The first broadcast was Tarawih prayer, which occurs nightly during Ramadan. The One Ummah radio station broadcasts out of Halifax's Ummah Masjid basement. Imam and Executive Director Abdullah Yusri says the community is excited to have their own station. It took 2 years to put together. The radio will play in multiple languages to cater to the diverse ethnic community in Halifax and create a sense of home, says Yusri. The Muslims in Canada Archives, or MICA, are enlisting the help of the Muslim community here to preserve their heritage. Based in the University of Toronto's Institute of Islamic Studies, MICA seeks to give Muslims more control of sharing their experiences and preserving history for future generations. They are looking for items such as flyers, articles, letters, and photographs. Partnerships with Memorial University in Newfoundland and Labrador and Quebec's Université Laval are part of a vision to make the archive national. Project head Anva Emon says that Ramadan is a time for people to reflect on where they have been while archiving their history. Israeli security forces intervened with Palestinians gathered at the Damascus gate after Tarawih prayer Sunday. International media sources report that 13 Palestinians were detained and 20 injured. In recent days, Israel saw a number of attacks in which at least 11 Israelis were killed. The Israeli army, for its part, intensified its raids across the occupied West Bank, during which a number of Palestinians were killed. The situation is also likely to escalate, with extremist Jewish groups calling for storming the Flashpoint Al-Aqsa Mosque complex during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Israel occupied East Jerusalem during the 1967 Arab-Israeli War. In 1980, it annexed the entire city in a move never recognized by the international community. And that's it for the news. A Muslim film festival in Edmonton wrapped up recently, a star-studded night with Muslim comedians and filmmakers. To talk to us about it, we have NARMEEN SAIYED from the MOSQUERS Film Festival. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Well, before we talk about the film festival, just say Ramadan Mubarak, and how's Ramadan going?
Thank you. Good, really good. This year, alhamdulillah, it's been great.
That's good to know, alhamdulillah. Now, I mentioned that the film festival had just wrapped up. On the website, it features some previews of the finalists. I think I remember seeing 3, but I don't remember seeing who won. Are you able to tell us which film won?
Yeah, for sure. We for the previews, we had three filmmakers who were able to create a film during the quarantine, and we had our audiences vote for their favorites. And the winner of that film was from Winnipeg, Manitoba. The film was called Healthy Body, Broken Mind. It focused a little bit on mental health and the struggles of a Muslim filmmaker through that.
So now you've just mentioned a couple of things that I'd like to ask you. The first one is you mentioned the filmmaker is from Winnipeg. So
Mhm.
are all the submissions that you receive from Canadian filmmakers?
We have local filmmakers from Alberta and Canada, but we also have international filmmakers who are presented during the film festival. So we had submissions from Australia, United Kingdom, America, and more.
And the film that I saw on the website are short, like 5 minutes max. Is that the case with all of the submissions?
Our film festival is a short film festival, so it ranges between 8 to 15 minutes in general. The preview that is on the website was an initiative that we started during COVID specifically for people to be able to create films at home, and
Mm.
those were ranged between 3 to 5 minutes. But generally, the films that we feature at the film festival range between 8 to 15.
And is that a creative decision or a pragmatic decision to have only short films?
It is a creative decision just because when we first started in 2007, it started off as a short film festival for amateur filmmakers or people looking to showcase their talents through the film medium.
Mm.
And it has evolved in the past few years to become what it is now, where we have international Muslim filmmakers interested in creating these short stories and talking about the challenges that they face as everyday Muslims in the short period that they're able to create.
Well, I know writing, and I know that it's harder to write something short than it is to write something long. Can you
Mhm.
just expand a little bit on what's the creative or the advantage or why the short film? Why is that the one that you're promoting?
For sure. In terms of why we decided to do just short films, I think it is there are a lot of challenges that are faced by Muslims and are across the board, just based on how people accept those challenges and face them in general. But
Mm.
I think with the short films, it really highlights some of their moments in that moment. So specifically speaking, say challenges with Islamophobia, if a person has a specific story to tell, they're able to uh, narrate that within that short time without it being a big undertaking where they now have to fend for production fees as well as figuring out the start, beginning, and the end. Is
Right.
just an easier way and more accessible for more local and amateur filmmakers as well.
That makes sense. Now, the one that won, that you talked about, the audience vote, is there any money reward for that, or is it just like a thing?
No, we actually the winners of the film festival can win up to 10,000 Canadian dollars. We The winner that I did speak about was an online competition. We did have 10 finalists that we showcased at the festival. Three of those were from local Edmonton, Alberta,
Mm,
as well as seven from Australia, UK, United States. We had several submissions from across the world.
mm.
Out of those, we did have different winners. There is the best picture, best performance, best technical quality. All of those range between one to $2,000 per award. So a filmmaker could technically win up to 10,000.
Well, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
How do you fundraise to give the awards?
So we fundraise through grants and sponsorships. We are very lucky to have supportive um, local and national organizations who are able to help us and support us through the years, who really believe in our mission and vision of creating a platform to showcase the diverse Muslim experience through filmmaking.
Mm.
So we have been very lucky to receive that support over the years. Yeah.
Now, early on in our Canadian Muslim news show, we interviewed someone who was putting an international film festival of Muslim filmmakers in Toronto.
Mhm.
And it was just a new initiative, a couple of years, I think. But you've been going since 2007. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you and why you started?
For sure. So in 2007, a group of university students started this as a club activity of a short film festival that they used to showcase tackling everyday issues and showcasing local Muslim talents that they could use as a creative outlet while they were studying in university. Over the years, we have experienced significant growth, where now we draw international filmmakers as well as performers and an audience from all across North America.
Are there other Muslim film festivals around the world?
We were recently contacted by Muslim International Film Festival. They were also in attendance this year as well. So that's one of the new ones that we've heard about in Toronto, and we're very excited because we've also worked with them and just to see how we've it probably inspired or helped them become who they are as well. We have yet to see something at a bigger scale just to focusing on Muslim filmmakers, but we would love to work with anyone who shared the same interest as us for sure.
Mhm. Now, is this a bit of an in-house event, or are you able to help project these films out into the wider audience? If you're trying to present, different narratives and combat Islamophobia, it can't be done just in our community, right? It has to get out. So, can you talk to us about that aspect?
For sure. For now, just we have been able to use filmmakers and films that are currently in the film festival circuit, which is why a lot of times a lot of our films are housed and showcased at the festival. But after the films have been through the circuit and won awards, we post them on our website as well as our YouTube channels to make sure that everyone has access to these videos. And we also use them throughout the year for our external and events that we have through, in Calgary, we had one recently right before the event called The Trailer, where we showcased some of the films from the previous years just
Mm,
for a newer audience,
mhm.
which was really incredible as well.
Edmonton's seen some very nasty attacks, especially against Black Muslim women lately. Do you get any hate mail or negative feedback?
Uh, that's a great question. We do face some negative comments here and there, but it is very minimal compared to the largely positive response that we do receive, and overwhelmingly happy, positive responses for our festival just because of the mission and vision that we believe in. And the fact that we have created a platform for talented Muslim filmmakers and creatives across the board to
Mm.
use this as a platform for them to share their narratives and stories has been incredible. And I think the community recognizes that. And we have received crazy amounts of awesome feedback saying that they've been able to create new projects and come up with new things and connect with new people through our festival, and that is just what we are here to do. And we're hoping that one day we hear of no attacks and no Islamophobic, um, in cases and issues. But until then, we are hopeful that, the steps that we are taking help aid lessen that issue and lessen those challenges for our everyday Muslims and sisters.
Hopefully. We're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Thank you for watching Canadian Muslim News. Share, like, and subscribe if you like what we do. Stay safe and God bless.